Hello students, today we are going to start a new topic. Before that, let's see what we have learned till now. We have seen the mechanics, engineering mechanics. We have divided the engineering mechanics into first is statics and next is dynamics. In statics, we have learned the equilibrium part. We have learned the plane stresses. We have seen the virtual work. Now we have completed the static portion. Now we are moving towards the dynamic portion, and we have classified the dynamics into. Okay, so my name is Ankur Agarwal, and I'm teaching engineering mechanics. This is my line lecture. So proceed. So in introduction part, we have divided dynamic into one is kinematics and one is kinetics. Right. In kinematics, we have studied that we have looked this in the introduction part that in kinematics we will only concentrate the motion of the body. We will not concentrate how the motion is being caused. That means which force is mounting, which force is not. But in kinematics, we are focused on the motion. How the motion is being done, we are not focusing that. In kinetics, we will focus that how the motion is being done, what force are applied, which cause the motion. Okay, so let's proceed with the kinematics. Yes. Let's consider that this is our coordinate system. Okay, let's assume one body which is moving in this space and reach some point P. Right? The body traveled from the point O to some point P. Okay, so if body has moved in this way, that means body have changed its position. Body has changed its position. Okay, suppose take one example like this. The body has traveled from point P to Q. P to Q. Okay. So body has traveled from P to Q. So this is the pink one is the amount of displacement that done by the body. Okay, that done by the body. So this will be the my displacement vector, and these are my position vector. Suppose this is R1, this is R2. Okay, in this body has moved from O point P to point Q. Okay, the body has moved from point P to point Q. Then our displacement vector, this is displacement, is called the change in position. Change in position or position vector. That means final position minus initial position. Right? What is final position? Final position is Q. So what is a vector? Position vector is R2 vector. Minus initial position. Initial position is P. That means R1 vector. Right? This is our displacement. Displacement when the body move from point P to point Q. Okay. Body have covered some displacement. That means in some time, that means it also have some velocity. And what is the velocity? We all know. velocity is the rate of change in position of a body with respect to time. That means delta r vector upon delta t. Delta is distance like the change in position vector. If this change in position vector is very small, then we can write this as dr upon dt, right? This comes when we give limit where delta t tends to 0. ठीक है, delta tends to 0. But हम इतना डिटेल में नहीं जाएंगे. We all know that this happened. Okay, clear? So far we have seen the displacement. Displacement is the change in position or change in position vector. And what is velocity? Velocity is the rate of change in position of a body with respect to time. Okay, so let's move to the some definition. See, displacement we have seen it is a change in position of an object or change in position vector of the body. Okay, here I have taken the example like body have moved from O to P. Body have moved from O to P. O to P. Right. The position vector at O is 0. That means here R1 is 0 and R2 is R. And we all know R2 minus R1, that means R minus 0. This is the null vector. That means this. So this is our displacement. This is our displacement. Right? Okay. So velocity we have seen the rate of change in position of an object with respect to time is velocity. And acceleration. Okay. Now acceleration. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Or you can say the change in velocity delta v vector upon delta t. Or you can say initial velocity minus, final velocity minus initial velocity upon time taken. Okay. By this you can all define the acceleration. Okay. So this is the basic terms you have seen it before in classes. Okay. So let's move further. So in the kinematics, we are going to study two type of motion. Basically, one type of motion, that is a translation motion. Translation motion. Okay, in translation motion, and so first, what is translation motion? Translation motion is the motion which is done on a line. Okay, which is done on a line. Okay, one body is being translated to here. Okay, so motion in some direction is called translation. Okay, so this is being further divided into, one is rectilinear translation motion, and another is curvilinear translation. What is rectilinear translation motion? Rectilinear translation motion is the motion of a body in a line, in a single line. Okay, so that's the rectilinear translation motion. That motion can be in y, can be in x, can be in z. Okay, let me repeat. That motion, 1D motion, can be in x, can be in y, can be in z. किसी भी डायरेक्शन में मोशन हो सकता है. Single direction motion is known as rectilinear. What is curvilinear? Curvilinear is a motion of a body in 2 dimension or 3 dimension. Or we can say it's a combination of a motion of rectilinear motion. So let's proceed with our first rectilinear motion. So rectilinear motion. So rectilinear motion is the motion along a line, as I told you. Suppose I have considered one body. This is our body. It's a rigid body. Okay, and in kinematics we will take reference for a body. Okay, body के reference के लिए we will take one reference. Okay, for the reference of a body we will take one reference. So I have assumed here the reference as a ground, and if in any question reference is not given, then by default the reference is ground. Okay, by default reference is ground. So let's see. So this is a rigid body. What is the purpose of rigid body? That means it's each and every point will be displaced by equal amount. Okay, so suppose there is the body which is displaced from its initial position to the final position. Okay, so this amount of motion, let's say, is ds displacement. Okay, so let's see each and every point how it's been displaced. So the first point, that means it is also the ds one. Second point is also, because it is a rigid body, so each and every point is being traveled by same displacement. There is a center of mass I've taken. Okay, even center of mass will be displaced by the same amount. The body, if a rigid body is displaced by the ds amount, so all the points in the body will also displaced by the same amount. If the body is only having translation motion, that means a body is have been traveled in a one line. Okay, only this happen in this only. Okay, if the body is moving in circle, then we can't say like this. Okay, so same as for the velocity. If the velocity of particle A is suppose v, okay, v1, so the same velocity is for the all particles. That means v2 equals to same equals to v3 equals to v4. Same for the acceleration. This have come up because we all know what is velocity, the displacement upon time, displacement vector upon time vector, that means a change in position. Okay, that is displacement. So displacement upon time is velocity, same as the rate of change in velocity is called the displacement. Right? In that behalf, this all having a same velocity, displacement, acceleration. Okay, so this is the function of rigid body, and here we have taken the reference ground. Okay, so let's move to the type of rectilinear motion. So rectilinear motion can be have two motion, that is you have all heard about it, uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Okay, so what is uniform motion? Uniform motion is the motion in which velocity remains constant. Velocity will not change, it will remain constant. And if velocity remains constant, that means acceleration will come up to 0, because our initial velocity minus final velocity will become equal. That means it come up to 0. Okay, जब आपका velocity, final velocity and initial velocity equal हो जाएगा, so this difference will be 0, then acceleration will be 0. So in the case of uniform motion, velocity will be constant, that means acceleration will be 0, and in this case we can say that the net force on the body is 0, as what we have seen in the first law of motion. Okay, the body have a uniform motion, that means no force is applied. If our body is at rest, that means no force is applied. Okay, and rest is the special case of uniform motion, because at rest velocity of a body is having a 0 velocity but constant. Okay, so rest is the special case of uniform motion. Okay, so now uniform motion. See, uniform motion, that means velocity is variable or velocity is changing, right? if velocity is changing, that means velocity can be changed in two ways. It can be changed either in magnitude or in direction. Can you suggest me one example in which the velocity having a same magnitude but its direction is changing? Think. Okay, so that example is circular motion. Okay, I should say uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion. In a uniform circular motion, the magnitude of velocity is same, but the direction at each and every point are changing. Okay, so whenever there is a non-uniform motion, the velocity can be changed, is changing. That means it can be changing magnitude, it can be changing direction as well. So in both cases, we will having a non-zero acceleration. We will having a non-zero acceleration. That means in that case, our net force on the body will not be zero. Okay, I am taking the force part here because it's very natural, but we will take it fully in the kinetics part. Okay, I'm just taking parallelly because we will use in that also. Okay, now, okay, so we will further divide non-uniform motion in two parts. So we will further divide the non-uniform motion in two parts. That is constant acceleration. Okay, in uniform, what we have seen, uniform means non-zero acceleration, right? Non-zero acceleration. So non-zero acceleration means acceleration can be constant or can be variable, or I can say cannot be. Well, it's not constant, variable. Okay, varying. Okay, so whenever the acceleration is constant, we know we can apply the equations of motion. Okay, here we can solve the question for the problems in which the object is having a constant acceleration. We can apply the equation of motions. Equation of. We all know what are the equations of motion. First is v equals to u plus at. Second is s equals to ut plus half at square. And third one is v square equals to u square plus 2as. I hope you all know about this, and this can be applied only when the body is traveling with a constant acceleration. Okay, so how will you solve the question if the acceleration is not constant, it's variable? So in this we have, like we all know that body can be traveling motion, having the motion with the function of some time, with the motion of some velocity, okay, or with the motion of some displacement. So here what we can do, we can have two things here. Either we can apply, for in this case we can apply the acceleration equals to dv upon dt, or if I take these two, I can say that acceleration, I'm sorry because you are not able to see here, so I have moved it a little bit up. So here we can apply this, that means v vector into dv upon ds. Okay, we can apply this here. So let me recap the things. We have seen rectilinear motion having the either uniform motion or non-uniform motion. Uniform motion means a constant velocity. That means acceleration is zero. Okay, and uniform motion having the special case, that is the body is at rest. Okay, so in non-uniform motion, velocity is changing either in magnitude or in direction. That means acceleration is non-zero. That means body having some unbalanced force due to which it's moving. Okay, so further we have classified the non-uniform motion into first is constant acceleration. If the body is moving with the constant acceleration, then we can apply the equation of motion on it. Okay, these three equations can be applied on the body according to the question says. Okay, then if the body is having a non-uniform acceleration, that means acceleration is varying, then we can apply these two equations for solving the question. Acceleration is like acceleration equals to dv upon dt, and acceleration equals to v into dv upon ds. Okay, by these two equations we can apply the apply in the question and solve the required part. Okay, so quickly move to the question parts. So this is our first question. Let's see. Because this is the part which we have studied many times, so I'll take the question quickly. So just read the question. Initially, initial velocity of an object is 40. It's given, and acceleration is it's a vector. It's a vector equals to 0.1 minus 0.1 v vector. V is an instantaneous velocity. That means the velocity of an object at the instant time. Okay. Then find the velocity of an object at after 3 seconds. Okay. So firstly, we will write what the part are given. Okay. We will represent a initial velocity. In the first question, I'll write all the initials. Initial velocity u. Okay. Okay. I consider the velocity is like there is an object. It's moving in positive x direction. I have considered. Okay. So I have considered the body is having the 40 meter per second in x direction. These are my coordinates, x, and this is my y. Okay, so u is 40 meter per second in x direction. Okay, so what else is given? Acceleration is given 0.1 of v vector. That means that I have considered velocity in x direction. That means the velocity instantaneous velocity is also in x direction, but acceleration is negative. That means it's having some retardation. Okay, find the velocity at after 3 seconds. Okay, but can you suggest me that velocity is this acceleration is constant or variable? As you can see, the initial velocity is 40 and it's having acceleration. That means velocity is changing. So this acceleration is not constant. This acceleration will increase on time. So this is the case of variable acceleration. And in the case of variable acceleration, we have these two equations. So let's apply these two equations and solve for the answer. So as we have seen that this is for the case of variable acceleration, we can apply these two equations. That means we can apply this thing. Okay, so let's take dt this side and dv this side. Let's put the value of acceleration a from here. It's minus 0.1 dv dt dv. Just because this dv is having indexation, this also needs indexation. So let's avoid the vector terms. Simply, we will take the magnitudes from now because the direction is same. And just integrate these two. Integrate both sides. And what should be the limit? The time initial velocity is given. That means time is here is 0. And we have to find the velocity of an object after 3 seconds. That means we have to find the velocity at time equals to 3 seconds. So time limit is t equals to 0 to t equals to 3 second, and velocity is initial velocity. That means at time t equals 0, velocity is 40, and let's take the velocity at 3 seconds as v. Okay, so now I carry this thing here. So now minus 0.1 into t having limit 0 to 3 equals to ln v having a limit. Let me erase this part or just move this upward. It's having the limit 40 to v. Just we will put the value 0.1. It's 3 minus 0, it's 3, and this ln v minus ln 40, that means ln v upon 40. Take the e ki power in e power on both sides. This e ki power ln is the 1. That means we can have this e ki power minus 0.3 equals to v by 40, and we got the answer v equals to 40 into e ki power minus 3 meter per second. This is our answer. I hope you don't have any problem in this, because this is a very basic question and you have all done this things before, but still we can go through it once more. In this question we have given the initial velocity, we have given the acceleration, but in terms of velocity. So what we have done, we know that the acceleration is not constant. We have applied the variable acceleration equation. So we have applied, we just have elaborated and do the math part. Okay, so let's move to the next question. So let's see our second question. A stone is thrown vertically upward and reach back to ground after 5 seconds. Find first initial velocity, second maximum height reached by a stone. Okay, so in this question I will suggest that you will draw some diagram while you are practicing the question. But in the competition exam, try to do this diagram things in your mind. But while you're practicing, you must draw the diagram. So let's draw a diagram. Suppose there is a stone. It's been thrown vertically upward. Okay, as it is been thrown vertically upward, it will attain some height and it will come down to the ground. Okay, so this is the okay. I have considered some position different, but it will be the same position because it's thrown vertically upward. Okay, just to show, I have take the another position here, but it's not like that. Okay, so it will thrown vertically upward, but that means it will thrown with some speed, that means u, and it's attained some height. This height is called the maximum height. Let's say this height is h. Okay, so what we have given, we have only given one thing, that is a total time of flight of this stone. ठीक है, टाइम कितनी देर हवा में रहा था वो हमें टाइम गिवन है यहाँ पे. Okay, so this is also called the time of flight. Time of flight is also given. Oh, is given, only given. Now, so first thing, we have to find the initial velocity. First, what acceleration is been here? कौन सा acceleration होगा यहाँ पे? We know, because this is the motion under gravity. Gravity is always towards the earth. That means downward, vertically downward. That means acceleration here is minus 10 meter per second square, right? So we have given acceleration, that means minus. Okay, we have taken minus here because I am following this coordinate system, as I told you before. ये positive x में होगा, so I will take the positive. Okay, if the direction of motion is in negative x, I will take negative. If the direction acceleration, displacement, anything, if it's in the negative y, I'll take the negative. If it's a positive y, I'll take the positive. Same as for the x and minus x. If the body is having a displacement, velocity, acceleration in x direction, then I consider positive. If having it's going towards the negative acceleration, then I will take negative. So I have taken the negative acceleration because its acceleration is vertically downward. Okay, so let's move further. These two things is been given. We have to find the initial velocity. So let's apply the equation of motion because the because acceleration here is constant. Student, I am going fast because these all questions you have done. Okay, so I have to move quickly. If you want, you can just pause the video and do it by yourself and just relieve when you have some doubt. Okay, so move further. As we know, the acceleration is constant. We can apply the three equation motion, but we have time and acceleration. We know we want to find the initial velocity. Only these two things is given. But as the question says that a stone is thrown vertically upward, so we know that the velocity at the topmost point, because here the velocity is going upward, here the object is moving upward, but from here object is moving vertically downward. That means what happened? See, if I throw this up, that means at one point it's moving up, after some point it will move down. That means at one point it will having a zero velocity, at one point it will having one zero velocity. That means same is happening at this point. That means here the velocity is be zero, velocity will be zero. So we know, can what we can do, we can take just half part of the treble. That means time will become half. I'll take the time t2, sorry, t1. It will be the half of 5. That means it will be 2.5 second. Why? We have considered half of the flight. Half of flight. Half of flight. I'm going to consider here. So the time is just half. Okay. Acceleration will be same. That is minus 10 meter per second square. And here we know the final velocity, because if I consider this as half, okay, so velocity, final velocity here will be 0. We need to find the initial velocity now. Okay, according to question, I have diverted the things. So we can easily apply the first equation of motion. That means v equals to u plus at. V is 0. U is we have to find. Acceleration is given minus 10, and time we know is 2.5. 2.5. So we know easily that from here velocity will become 25 meter per second. Okay, clear? First part we have solved. Next part, maximum height attained by the stone. Okay, clear? Let's move this thing apart. Second. Okay, now maximum height reach. Okay, we need to find this h. Okay, we can we apply in this half portion only the third equation of motion. That means v square equals to u square plus 2as. As is the displacement. Okay, in the first half of the motion, the displacement is towards the positive y. So I'll take answer should come in the positive. Okay, as we know, the initial velocity is 0. We have find the final velocity is sorry. Final velocity is 0 here, and we have calculated the initial velocity is 25. So just put the values 0, 25 whole square plus 2 into minus of 10 into s. Okay, so s equals to 25 into 25 divided by 2, and so it will come out to be sorry. Yeah, so it will come out to be 30.25 meter. Okay, sorry, it's not 25, it's 65. Okay, yeah, so it's a very easy question. Okay, I hope you can you understand this. So let's move to next question. So this is our third question. Let's read what question says. Here, the stone is thrown vertically upward. Here also thrown vertically upward. It is known that the speed of stone are equal at time 3 seconds and 5 seconds. Find the initial velocity, maximum height reached by the stone. Same thing we have to calculate, and the same case is there. You have one stone which is thrown vertically upward, right? It is thrown vertically upward. कुछ देर बाद वो नीचे आएगा. Okay, so it's thrown with some velocity v. Okay, and at some point the velocity will be 0, and it will come to ground. Okay, with the acceleration, constant acceleration. So in this question it's given that at 2 times, that means at time equals to 3 seconds and at time equals to 5 seconds, it is known that the speed of stone, okay, the speed, where the word is written speed doesn't have a direction. That means the magnitude of velocity at time 3 seconds and time 5 seconds are equal. That means let's consider that the body is here at time 3 seconds. Okay, body आपकी यहाँ पर है 3 seconds पे. Let's say this is the point A. This is the point A, and let's say this is the point B when body is at time 5 seconds. Okay, so let's say this is the TA. Let's say this is a TA time. This time is TA and this time is TB, right? And at these point, the velocity, if I consider this velocity as VA and I consider this velocity as VB, because it's down, because after this the motion will be downward and from here the motion will be upward. So I consider that these directions. Okay, so that means the velocity magnitude are equal at these points, as what question says, and these at these point time are given. Okay, clear? Now what we have to do, we have to find the initial velocity here. Okay, so let's try solve this question. In this question, because it's a question, it's a very basic question, we know that if the body is travel from point A to B and they're having the same velocity, that means they should be at the same height. Okay, so A and B are at the same height from the ground, and they will be having same velocity. One more thing, the time taken from the ground to point A will be 3 seconds. So the time from B to the ground is also 3 seconds. That means body from the ground to this point B is taking the 5 seconds, and further it will take the 3 seconds to reach the ground. That means the total time of flight we know. By this we know the total time of flight. That means 3 plus 5 equals to 8. 3 plus 5 equals to 8. This is the time of flight. Okay, this was a trick. This is very basic. I think you must all know these things. Okay, if you don't, just have explained this thing. Okay, so let's apply this. That means we know the time of flight and we have to find the initial velocity, just a thing before. And here also I consider the g is minus 10. One more thing, if value of g is not given in the question, you have to take 9.81, but I am considering here 10 for the simplicity of the calculation, but you have to take the 9.8 in the numericals if it's come and no acceleration is given. Okay, so time of flight is become I think it's become same this question. I will do it faster. Here the time is 8, so half time of flight, it becomes the 4 second. Okay, and I know acceleration is minus 10 meter per second square, and at the final velocity, because I consider the only half travel, so final velocity is 0. I have to find the initial velocity. I will apply the first equation of motion. u equals to v equals to u plus at. That means it becomes 0. Initial velocity minus 10 into 4. That means if I take this here, that means u equals to 40 meter per second for this. And further we will apply, we need to find the height. We will apply the third equation of motion here. That means v square equals to u square plus 2as. That means what is v? V is 0. This is 40 whole square plus 2 into minus 10 from here. As will be h, so we can find the h from here. It's become 41, 61, 60 and 2. So 2 to 8. This will be the, okay, this is the, okay, this has just become the similar question of the previous one. So let's move further. So this is our fourth question. Let's see what question says. If the body have acceleration, this, and its motion starts from rest, that means initial velocity of the body is 0 and body is moving with the acceleration minus 8 upon s is displacement and its square. Okay, let's start from first. If the body have a acceleration, this, its moving, its motion starts from rest for infinite displacement. Okay, if body is moving for infinite displacement, then velocity at displacement 16 meter. So we need to find the we need to find the velocity at displacement. That means s equals to 16 meter. We have to find the velocity. Here just think that acceleration is constant or varying. Here acceleration is varying, so we have only two equation. That means dv upon dt or v dv upon ds. I think here the term displacement is given, so we will go with the second equation. So let's see, take the second equation. I'll just erase this. So we will go with the second equation. Right, just put the value of acceleration here, minus 8 upon s square v dv upon ds. Take this, just shuffle the things, square, and just do the integration. Simple. The limit is s equals to 0 because when the body is at rest, I consider that is the s displacement 0, and we have to calculate the velocity at 16 meter. And acceleration, okay, the velocity start from rest, that means u, that means 0, and we have to calculate the velocity at 16 meter. So I consider that velocity v. Okay, let's do the calculation here. So this is the integration of 1 upon s square. It will become minus 1 over minus 1 is 0 to 16. V2, sorry, is from 0 to v. Here 1 minus 1 also become, okay, yeah. Now here 16, here v square, it will be 8. V square, it's, so velocity is come out to be 1 meter per second. Okay, clear? I think you have cleared the thing that where you have to apply constant acceleration, where equation of motion, and where to apply the these two equations, which when the acceleration is not constant. So students, that's it for today. We have covered rectilinear motion. In next lecture, we will do the curvilinear translation motion, and we will do some problem that also, and we will quickly move to the kinetics part, in which we will see the cause of motion. We'll take the force over there. Okay. So thank you. Bye.